So I've gotten a bit of criticism for marking on the In God We Trust on currency and changing it to In God We Rust. I've gotten just a bit of flack for that. And I've seen people get flack lately for having different definitions and urging people to not be so strict with their own definitions when there are other definitions out there. And I've seen people get flack for that and get blocked from people's websites. I've seen people get flack for encouraging students to remain silent for the words under God in the Pledge of Allegiance, which has caused disturbances in classrooms when that part of the pledge goes silent in a whole classroom because, some kids, they are even Christians, but just to create a disruption in the classroom and get a rise out of the teacher, they'll do it. And then when it gets a rise out of the teacher, a whole bunch of people get in trouble. I've seen people get flack for changing their name to words that are generally considered offensive in order to try to affect a change on the power that word has. And strangely enough, I and some of these other people that have gotten flack for these things, we've gotten death threats, death threats, and we've actually started categorizing how the death threats come across, because like a category 1, type 1 death threat is I'm gonna fucking kill you, and there's no mistaking it. Category 2 is something like the wages of your sin will be death. God will bring his judgment upon you and smite you for all your wrongdoing. Or, that hurricane that hit that city that you were living in, that was because you were living in iniquity, And those are type 2 because the fundamentalists who believe that sort of thing often switch to type 1 on the drop of a dime because they think that they are taking God's will into their own hands. So we're actually now categorizing death threats because we've got these little things that we're doing, little small activist projects that we all have. But if you think that these projects are crazy and completely without merit, I'd say that you've set the bar a little low. Because I've just come across something really strange. Okay, so there's an Austrian blogger. His name is Niko, and he is a member of the Kirche des FSM, which, for you non-Austrian speaking people that are subscribed to me, is the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster in Austria. So, Niko had a problem with the way that he couldn't wear a hat in his driver's license picture. He doesn't like his hairline. His hairline isn't filled in, and he doesn't have the nice widow's peak that I have, where like the hair is actually trying to migrate and take over my forehead. He has one of the receding hairlines, So he wanted to wear a hat, but he couldn't because the only exception in Austria that would allow him to wear a hat in his driver's license picture would be a religious exception. So, Niko decided that he would wear a pasta straining colander on his head and claim this religious exception. And it worked. And there will be a link in the description box to his blog, and he's got a picture of his driver's license with him wearing a colander on his head. Wow.